welcome back to the Square. I am your host, Curtis V.
And I am Curtis IV.
All right. And so today we are going to continue our discussion on our quote-unquote March Madness-inspired, bracketology-inspired show here. We're going to continue with the Sweet 16 of our best sports movie of all time. So we'll go ahead and dive into that in a second here, but housekeeping things before we get started. Number one, please go ahead and follow us on Twitter. It's at @the_square pod. A lot of stuff we want to be able to interact with our fans. So for this show specifically, we have polls up from the last round in where we introduced all the movies. Plus, we made our first round picks as well. So you guys can also get involved, vote on what you guys feel is the winners of those matchups. Plus, you can see the full bracket in its totality there as well. And then also, please, just with the show, if you like it, please like the episodes and make sure that you're sharing, and because we want to be able to reach more people, and just continue to have a growing community of sports fans, to have a place where we can just talk sports without being judged. So
Exactly.
let's go ahead and let's get into this Sweet 16 round here. Again, we start off in the North as we always do. And I know, actually, before we get into that, you had some honorable mentions that we had touched on last episode.
Well, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's any chatter out there. I know we're getting a few comments going on, and it's sort of grassroots, but we're getting a few biters out there. But if there's any questions of like, oh my God, how could you not have Field of Dreams on here? And I know we went in real hard talking about Rocky IV, the highest grossing movie of all time, until it has been eclipsed by The Blind Side.
Yeah,
the Blind Side. Where's The Blind Side?
Yeah.
And I mean, okay, we fair. I guess we can call that a sports movie. I guess. I mean, it's sport-ish in there. It's not.
That's more of a family movie to me.
Right. I know it's solely about an NFL player. Well, not solely, but a big part of it is. But yeah, okay, those didn't make it. However, I do have an honorable mention. And it's coming out of the sports of boxing, and I was like, wow, how did I not come up with this? I know.
I'm surprised. Which one is this?
The Fighter, with Mark Wahlberg and Christian Bale.
Yeah, that is a good one.
And it's a movie I even go to sleep to. Like, I turn it on all the time, and I can watch it over and over again. It's just it's
a great movie.
Just an honorable mention. It should have been on the bracket, but it did not make it. So
yeah, you're right.
That was. I'm sitting there going. I was rifling through my Blu-rays because I'm doing some spring cleaning.
Yeah,
and I came across like, how in the world did I not put this movie even on it didn't even make the cut list. Wow. When we were going through our process. I'm like, I just spaced on this movie completely. So, giving an actual honorable mention to The Fighter, and if any I mean, please, please, if y'all want to comment anything that y'all think that should have been on the list, please send that on. Don't just, well, I think you should have did. Send that. Let us know. We want to know what we missed. I already know I did the Field of Dreams. I'm making it easy for you all. Yeah. Blind Side. What else you got?
Invite the criticism.
Yes.
So please let us know.
Since what should have cracked our top 32?
Yeah.
So, I mean, come on, people. It's 32 movies. Now, which one you think? And then
also, what would you have taken out?
Thank you. That's what I was going to ask you. What should not be on here, and why?
Yeah.
Because I would like this. I'm just curious to hear why. Just give me just flat answer. Like, I can't guess why you would want this over that. So, with that being said, go ahead.
All right, let's go ahead and dive into our. Like I said, it's the Sweet 16 round. This is round 2 for us. So starting off with the North, 2 winners: Rocky IV versus Coach Carter. Let's just get into picture. I mean, we've done a synopsis on the movies already in the last episodes, so definitely go look at those parts if that's something that you're interested in, and you're looking to kind of see how we got to this point so far.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, let's just go ahead with picks. I'm taking Rocky IV over Coach Carter. I think that Rocky IV, again, I think it comes down to just how iconic it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't, not that Coach Carter doesn't hold weight against it. I just think how iconic and how powerful Rocky IV was and what it means to a lot of people. I'm taking it over Coach Carter.
Man.
And it's a tough one because Coach Carter is just it has a different style.
It does. It does. And again, we just quickly going into, it is inspired by a true story. Rocky is just inspiring, and
For sure.
and unfortunately, I mean, I just how do you choose? I mean, how do you pick uh, over Rocky Four? I
I
mean,
don't think you can.
at least not in this round. Coach Carter is great, but we definitely got to go Rocky Four.
All
Is
right.
100%.
Staying chalk again in this bracket over here. And then we got Cinderella Man versus Remember the Titans. To round out the kind of Sweet 16 portion here of the North Division, anyway. What are your thoughts on these two?
Man, both inspired by true stories. One's boxing, one's football. You got Russell Crowe on one end, you got Denzel Washington on the other.
This is a tough one. These two are two heavy
Man.
hitters. Two heavy hitters here.
Okay, which one was I most moved by? I mean, man, because both was moving, both was touching, both struck a nerve in you, both was inspired you and motivated you. But again, I cannot say enough about how James Braddock's life was displayed beyond. I mean, it wasn't just James Braddock the boxer; it was James Braddock the man and his life, his family, his lifestyle, and just his. I mean, it wasn't a rags to riches story, but it was
it was a riches to rags to riches story,
right? You just knocked on your keister type situation and picked himself up, dusted himself off from his own bootstraps, figured it out, grinded his way through it, and before you know it, not only did he get his life back on track, the man became champion. And which got him back to where he started in the beginning of the movie, where he was number one contender. And then of course, then we just go and it just pans over into the Great Depression. But Cinderella Man is just truly inspiring, and for me, I have to go with Cinderella Man. That's taking nothing away from Remember the Titans. I think Remember the Titans just it's going against a Goliath here, in a sense.
I initially took Remember the Titans when I was just looking at the picks that I could have made here, but just like thinking about it more and more, I think I have to go with Cinderella Man as well. And it's because the more and more I think about that movie, and I guess I gotta go watch it again. But man, it's one of these movies where like you said, it's just moving. It's inspiring. It makes me want to get out and just work, and it not even just
a hustle. It just it speaks to you. I mean, man, it's a motivating in a different way. It moves you to want to do something productive.
Yeah, because you just see like what he had to go through. That's not. I mean, we don't have to deal with that in any stretch of imagination as it stands right now. I hope I never get to that point. But it just makes me think like, man, a lot of my issues, a lot of things that I have going on are so minute compared to that.
Mm-hmm.
Like why can't I just go out there and let me just do what I got to do? Like let's just stay with the bare bones and just do what you're supposed to do. So
right.
I think I'm with you on that one. Let's go with Cinderella Man, putting it on through to the Elite Eight round.
Right.
All right.
Well, which will give us a Rocky IV Cinderella Man matchup.
That is boxing matchup. That's gonna be
that's for another show.
Heavyweight versus heavyweight.
Exactly.
All right. Let's move on to the East Division here. Let's introduce them. We have the two upset. This is the upset bracket.
Most interesting. Bracket.
Yeah. We got 8 seed Bloodsport taking on 5 seed Greatest Game Ever Played. What your thoughts?
Oh, I don't like this matchup because I knew it was coming.
It's a good one too.
I mean, what coming out of the first round would have been seen as box office underdogs, but these two, as you can see, these two storylines and plots were that strong. They were that moving. They were that inspiring. They were that entertaining that they beat out the Space Jams and the major leagues of the world.
Yeah.
And now they got to fight. Fight to the death here. In this knockout, drag out fight here, right in the Sweet 16.
I'll say this to me. whichever one wins this, I think wins this bracket.
Interesting.
But that's for another time. We can move on from that. But it's just my thought. Whichever one we pick here, I think I'm putting through.
We got Van Damme, Frank Dukes, full contact, karate fighting, right, karate tournament versus again greatest game ever played, golf movie, Shia LaBeouf, Disney, again, both man, I can't say enough about either movie, but both movies excellent across the board as far as the script itself, what it was from a competitive aspect. We looking at it from not so much from an Oscar and it wasn't the greatest acting, but man, just the script in itself and for the action and excitement that these movies brought, especially Bloodsport. I mean, I'm not big on the karate cinema per se, but man, this is before the MMA, UFC stuff. This came out in the 80s, so and I mean, my goodness, like, are you serious? They secretly holding this type of stuff down in Hong Kong, like straight Mortal Kombat type stuff, like just full contact, anything less than a weapon, and it was, I mean, man, it's cheesy, some cheesy acting, but the fight scenes, oh my god, the tournament scenes are just excellent, and in the mood and the music and the score that goes with it, and it's very 80s.
It's very 80s,
but it fits, and greatest game ever played. Oh my god,
the only
greatest. I like The Legend of Bagger Vance, but I don't like it more than this one. I want to say 1A, 1B, but I'll be disrespecting this movie. It's really 1 and Legend of Van is 2,
To me, though, this is off topic, but to me, when it comes to Legend of Bagger Vance, I like them in different ways. I like the way that greatest game ever played kind of show it makes me think of golf differently. The Legend of Bagger Vance, it's not so much the golf aspect of it, it's Bagger Vance's life. In the way that that character is, and how intriguing and how captivating that character is to me, is what kind of changes my view on that. So I think that they're just interesting in different ways.
Okay, that's fair, and that's fair, and that's fine. Unfortunately, we got to choose.
We do.
You want the honors first? Because I already know who I'm choosing.
Well, if you already know, you go ahead.
Well, given serious deliberation, and I gave both their due, I wasn't going to go into too much synopsis about any of this, and which I'm not. But for the sake of the matchup, I just wanted to do it, as respect to both movies. Greatest game ever played,
and we agree.
Yes. I mean, I hate to let go of Bloodsport, but
I think if this, like I said, I think that if these were on opposite sides of this bracket, this would be a matchup for the Elite Eight.
Yes,
and it'd be even tougher decision there because we're putting one to the Final Four. So it's tough, but it's one of these ones.
At least pushed it off another round.
Yeah.
Man, that was like an impossible decision.
It's hard. It sucks because I think Bloodsport holds its weight against almost every other movie on this bracket.
Please, listeners, y'all can comment. Y'all can be like, "Hey, you're an idiot, dude. I would never pick some crap golf over some doggone Van Damme." Okay, fine. Write that in. Let us know. I'll bring the smoke. I'll be bringing all the smoke.
We invite all of the criticism or all of the talk. So just let us know what you think down below.
We're starving for some conversation.
Please. It's just me and him. It's all day. I need to talk to somebody else.
I'm tired of talking to you too. Okay. I ain't too fond of talking to you all the time.
No.
Even though we talk all the time.
No. Let's move on to the 6-7. We got Rudy versus Draft Day. 2 football movies at least. So it makes it a little bit easier to choose. Your thoughts? What do you think of these two?
Well, we got the pioneer Rudy, 1993 classic.
Got through on a technicality.
Huh?
Got through on a technicality.
What technicality was that?
The coin flip.
Okay, what else got to do in a coin flip?
I think we only had one other.
No, it was something that you chose. It don't even matter. I don't even care because it wasn't something I chose. It was just something that got through.
No, it was your movies. It was White Man Can't Jump and Above the Rim.
No, 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 no. It was something else. When you know what, when we get to it, I'll be like, you know what, it was that one. Don't worry, don't worry. It wasn't. It
Okay.
wasn't in the North Division.
Oh,
Or was it?
it was. It was Legend of Bagger Vance versus Remember the Titans, and Remember the Titans got in.
Yes, we see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew it was something else.
Whatever. No, but what are your thoughts, Rudy? I mean, it's a classic though.
It's yeah. So you got Rudy. You know, man. You know, just straight determination, hard work, focus, tenacity. You know that's Rudy. You just going for your dream, staying the course. You know,
Yeah.
It's everything all inspiring things, all inspiring elements that you would find in a Rocky movie. You know, but in a different, but given to you packaged differently, but giving you the same results at the end.
Yeah.
That same mindset of feeling that comes behind that. With that being said, his counterpart, Draft Day. Kevin Costner, you know, very interesting behind the scenes look of how NFL franchises run on the actual day of the draft, not the draft process per se. I mean, just D-Day, that the day is time to choose.
Yeah.
And all that goes into that, and that's a full day process that starts wee early in the morning, 4 or 5, 3 in the morning, all the way until the draft's over, and then of course they go right into the season. So yeah. With these picks, I mean, we got 6 versus 7. Just coming flat out. If I looking at these two, I like both movies, obviously, but I am completely enamored by Draft Day, and Draft Day is my choice.
I mean, I didn't even have Rudy in this on my own bracket, but it holding up against Draft Day, I think. Even if Any Given Sunday was the other option, Draft Day, the way that it depicts the behind the scenes and how the draft, not even like you said, not just the process, the actual day operates, its depiction of that and how true to form it is, that one knocked it out of the park for me. It easily takes this side.
Wow, nice. Which sets us up for an Elite 8 of the greatest game ever played versus Draft Day. Oh,
that's going to be a fun conversation.
The East just keeps getting better.
Alrighty, let's talk South Division here. This is where we had Creed is facing the Giants. So, I mean, I'll start with this one. Creed, I think, is again. Creed is. Oh, did I?
No. I was just saying these are you.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, no. So Creed, I think, is 100% one of these movies where it touches. This does Rocky in a different fashion. It totally moved Rocky, like you said, into this like modern era Rocky, and it tells the stories in such a fantastic way. I just, to me, up against Facing the Giants, I think Facing the Giants, like I said, it's one of those super inspiring stories. It wants you. It gets down to a point where it just makes you think back to to the coaches that you may have had in the past and say, man, that's what I love to see. It's one of those things where it's like, man, if you can just inspire these kids to just see that they have a little bit more inside of them than what they think, if they can get the whole mind over matter mentality figured out, just the level and the amount of things that you can achieve, Facing the Giants just really speaks to that specifically. But I think, to me, Creed, the way I just love its storytelling, the way that it portrays these characters, and the way that it brings the Rocky franchise into this new era, it puts it over the top for me, and I choose Creed.
I can't argue with that. Facing the Giants is great, very inspiring. We discussed it mostly in the previous episode.
Yeah.
Creed is really Rocky / Rocky Balboa the reboot, and it's the modern version. Now we're getting the Creed side of the coin as opposed to the Balboa side. And for me to see this full circle from my childhood all the way into my middle-aged adulthood, it's like I get to see this thing full circle. And I mean, I'm excited to see the direction that this franchise is going. And it's his own franchise now. Creed is his own thing. It's not even really under the Rocky umbrella. I mean, it is, but it's not necessarily it stands
It
alone
stands
now.
alone, yeah.
With that, Creed hands down.
All right, perfect. We're in agreement there, and I like it. Now let's talk 42 versus Hoosiers. And I'll let you kick this side off.
All right, so we chat with Bozeman, and probably the movie that put him on the map, I believe, was this one.
The James Brown one.
Did it?
I think these two came out around the same time.
I want to say 42 came out first, but could be wrong.
100% could have. I remember it was this
one of the movies that put him on the map. Obviously, both of those movies were before Black Panther, so we know it was one or the other.
Yeah.
So, one of two movies that potentially had put him on the map, which 42. He's portraying the Jackie Robinson story. Jackie Robinson's story has been done before, but in different elements and ways. One called
been done a couple of times.
It was done in the past. They were capturing his time in the military, and so it's early. So I don't know too much about that. And 42 didn't cover that part. It was more sort of after the fact. So it really focused on him.
Picked up right when he got back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so that was nothing but a footnote, and that's the only other version I've seen. So this was all brand new. I didn't know much about his career. I did not follow Jackie Robinson. Obviously, I probably can stand to use a little bit more of study time and research time on baseball and history in general, because there's so much out there. Oh my God.
It's been around for a long time.
A lot of players and a lot of freaking games been played. Man, them season is just too long.
Again,
anyway,
that's a topic for another conversation.
Moving on. So Jackie Robinson, I thought the movie was well written. Harrison Ford playing Mr. Ricky, is the owner, who excellent supporting cast. I mean, the movie was just well written, very close and very accurate to what the things that have happened. I mean, granted, they embellished here and there, but nothing that was outlandish whatsoever that made you sit there like, man, that didn't happen. Like, nothing like that. And I mean, it was just well written, and it kind of showed just through his journey and through his struggle to try to help, in this partnership that he had with Mr. Ricky, to try to branch baseball and break down his color barrier. Like he, because we always just hear, Jackie Robinson, he broke the color barrier. How?
What does that actually mean?
Yeah, how did he do that? Well, he didn't do it alone. That was the other thing. Just for that owner to have that kind of conviction.
Yeah.
At the time in the Jim Crow era, and say, you know what, this is wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do something about it. And I mean, kudos to this guy. I mean, they even have his statue up right outside the Colorado Rockies stadium, and everything.
We have 42 day in the baseball world where everybody's wearing his number.
Exactly. So it's big, and this stuff don't just happen by happenstance. You want to know how big this is? Did you notice that the NBA does not have 23 day for Michael Jordan or anything like that whatsoever? Or but they do have a 42 for that's If Jordan ain't even getting this, that's all I was trying to say. That was saying nothing about Jackie Robinson. I was just letting you know how huge this is. I'm like, no other sport. There's no Tiger Woods Day. My gosh, it's huge. Yeah. And so this movie inspired on a whole different kind of level, where it was kind of a, hey, I know this guy doesn't get that kind of get this kind of press. Yeah. He don't get the the airtime. That movie, they did a service. Yeah. And to get Chadwick Boseman to be Jackie Robinson.
Yeah, that was huge. And the other thing to me about this movie, it doesn't just hit on the baseball aspect of it, though. It also talks about, and it's not for an extended period of time, but it briefly, and it also touches on his life with his wife, and how it affected his family as well, and the level of abuse and harassment that they received as well. It's just, it continues. I mean, I think we're in agreement here. 42 goes through over Hoosiers.
We didn't even say nothing about Hoosiers, but yes,
Okay.
I didn't have much. I mean, Hoosiers is a classic. However, I in the face of this matchup,
And it doesn't take anything away from Hoosiers.
no,
Hoosiers is its own thing, but 42, what it actually shows, I think, just makes this matchup. It blows Hoosiers out of the water, and rightfully so. It's a 3-7 matchup, so I mean it works out just the same. So I mean, I think, like you said, we're in agreement here. We're putting 42 on through, so that sets us up for a Creed 42 final. Sorry, not final four, Elite Eight round. Um, so that will be a very interesting matchup. Now let's wrap things up here with the Sweet 16 in the West. We got quite a few interesting matchups here. We got Rocky versus Varsity Blues. This is Rocky the original, the number one, and then we have Above the Rim versus Moneyball. So we will get into that, and I'll let you kick things off with the Rocky Varsity Blues matchup here.
Okay, so we got the original 1976 classic of Rocky. Starring with Sylvester Stallone as he's not only starring in it, he directed and written the movie.
Yeah.
So it's all him, 100%. It should have been called Sylvester. So anyway, with that being said, no, I'm not gonna go into any synopsis about Rocky. If you don't know what it is, I'm so sorry. Google it, people. With that being said, Varsity Blues. That nostalgic high school football element that they tap on, that it's that rare thing you find when you play sports like during your adolescence or during your teenage years. It's just you find that sweet spot that where you find that true passionate love for the game.
Yeah.
And this movie encapsulated that. I didn't experience that playing football in high school. However, I did experience it playing basketball.
Yeah.
But I can relate to what that feels like, you know, and what that experience does for you in those moments, as a young man or as a young woman for that matter, and just how that can help shape you going into the world, and
For sure.
and how you deal with adversity and competition and stuff like that. And Varsity for that alone is why this movie had made the list. Football scenes were fine, but they wasn't. Oh my God! Did you see how they made that sequence in that game? No, it's not even like that. It's very basic, actually. It's more about what's happening around the game, which is why I like this game. What I like about it, and how these teenagers are treated like gods. Man, they treated like gladiators. Really, they get whatever they want as long as they're winning and they're relevant. Which is
that's Texas high school football for you, though.
Could be problematic, but nevertheless, it's a culture, and it's a very real thing, and they don't shy away from that in this movie. But those are my takes for the two. I mean, but I'll hand it over to you.
Well, let's just get into picks then. I mean, I can't really add too much to those. Rocky speaks for itself. And Varsity Blues, you kind of hit all the talking points to that, and even with the heartfelt synopsis of why Varsity Blues is in here, Rocky is a classic, and for classic's sake, I put it through over Varsity Blues. But I mean, I could be definitely persuaded into just selecting Varsity Blues. I don't care which one goes through here. In all honesty, I like them both.
Well, of course, I think we like all of them, no matter.
True. Yes. I'm talking about as a matchup.
Right.
Even I think these are pretty even.
Well, I'm gonna shake up the world because I'm taking Varsity Blues.
Okay.
Because I was giving it due diligence, not because there's anything wrong with Rocky. Had this been Rocky 4, we'd have had a problem.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think I agree with you on that as well. I think Rocky 1 definitely takes a back seat to Rocky 4.
Right, and there's some room for okay. I can see another movie could slide up in there, but. This is I'm going to take and reserve my I'm going to take my opportunity now, and I'm going to use my option, and I'm going to go with Varsity Blues. So I guess we're going to a coin flip.
No, I respect it. I'll put Varsity Blues through because I like them both, and I have no problem putting Varsity Blues through. I would have put in. I only said Rocky because of just the classic sake. I would have put it in. But at the end of the day, it doesn't, like, I feel the same way you feel about Varsity Blue, the way that it just shows just the how high school kids have become gods, and how much weight and power that they hold it just because they're winning.
And it's very relevant to what we see today. It's like that's today's modern culture. Rocky, yeah, it's a classic. Classic. That's a rags to riches story now.
Yeah,
And can I relate to it on the common level day to day? Not necessarily,
yeah.
but it's inspiring all the same, and it does what it does. But in the face of this matchup, this is where I have to give a slight edge to Varsity Blues. I'm not saying Varsity Blues is a much better movie, per se, but it's one of these we're talking about what is the greatest sports movie. Now, what we define as greatest is, as you can see, we're talking about all kinds of things in the movie.
Yeah.
It just depends on the movie and how it moved us, so how it moves you as a listener. Now, again, please respond. You're a fool. I would never pick of what the heck is Varsity Blues, and then you pick that over Rocky. Okay, maybe that's fair, but
What
maybe
it means to other people, it
then
doesn't always add
right,
up. So
which is
definitely
fair. But then one could say, well, maybe you need to see Varsity Blues and be
true.
persuaded as well. I don't know. I'm just
And that's what I said in our last recording session. Go watch all of these movies. Like, all of these movies deserve to be seen at least once in your lifetime. They all are fantastic in their own rights, but at the end of the day, some are better than others, and it's all completely subjective. This is not an objective thing to talk about, because, like you said, somebody will say, "What the heck are you putting Varsity Blues over Rocky for? Rocky is the classic of all classics. It's everything that you want in a sports movie." But to us, that we see things differently, and that's fine. And then we, at the end of this, if you guys do vote enough, I will 100% put the square bracket versus the fans bracket up on Twitter, so you guys can kind of see the differences, and
oh please.
really do all of that. But please go vote, because this is what we want to do. This is the conversations we want to have with you
And
guys.
again, if you got a list of, you might have a few quick hit movies that you like. Look, what about these? How did you leave these
Yeah.
out? Give us that. I mean, because granted, we can always do this again. And I don't have a problem with that. But I mean, man, again, we had to finalize it to the top 32,
Yeah.
and you know, all movies are not created equal, and all movies will not make it. So
Yeah.
it was just kind of one of those things.
All right, well, let's wrap it up with the last matchup of the Sweet 16 round here. We got Above the Rim, the 6th seed, knocking out White Man Can't Jump. It's identical twin. And
Thank
then
you.
it's
Yin
the
and
2
yang.
seed Moneyball, which knocked out Warrior, which I think was the toughest decision of all of
That was the
last round.
worst first round matchup of all the brackets.
That was such a
those
tough
two
decision.
should have never been matched up at all.
100%. But those are what the matchups are. Moneyball versus Above the Rim. I'm gonna keep it simple here. I think Moneyball, in the way that it depicts, it is the, like I said in the last episode, or in the last recording session, this is the baseball version of Draft Day.
Yes, it is.
And and I think this even does it better, because, granted, Draft Day is based off of real events. This is based off of a true story.
Correct.
And I think that Brad Pitt, the way that he portrays Billy Bean, is fantastic. I think that he really hits home the frustrations, in really the what I like about it. It's more of like a militant. I have to knock off these the kind of insubordination one by one within my organization, and in the pressure that he puts on his on the coach to actually run the roster that he's curated for him in the way that it's supposed to be, where he makes the trade to get the guy out of there who he doesn't want at first base completely. He's like, you don't have an option.
Put Pena on the bench.
Yeah. He's like, you cannot play him. Like, you can't. He's not on a roster anymore. Like, that, there's all of that, and the way that it happened, and because those, again, there's the real things that have happened. I have to put Moneyball through Above the Rim, over Above the Rim, just because, man, it's I think that one in how hard it hits by
Hold
far.
on, we got Wood Harris, Daryl
You
Martin,
can't even remember the name.
Tupac. Now I'm trying to get the Tupac because I was saving Tupac. You got Leon. I mean, Marlon Wayans. I mean, Bernie Mac, New York.
Which one are you picking?
And Moneyball is gonna go through
100%.
I didn't even want to waste my time trying to go through. This is come on.
Moneyball's too good, man.
Nothing wrong with Above the Rim. It's no Moneyball.
And it's not.
Oh my God. See, in Moneyball, like Draft Day, this is getting to a whole new level of sophistication of sports movies, and it's one I like because it's not necessarily we're on the field, we're on the court, we okay, that's cool, but what else goes on? It's the businesses, the sports business, which is even just as interesting as the sport itself. With that, we're gonna have Moneyball goes through. So,
okay.
Which again, oh my God, you want to speak to this potential matchup next on the next episode?
Varsity Blues versus Moneyball. That's gonna be a fun conversation.
It is, and I think we do need to do justice going and look forward to rounds to really talk about these matchups a little bit before we just make the pick. And not that we're not doing it now, but I don't think less is more as we go further.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
No, I agree. We can talk about it and really get into it a lot more. So those are the picks there. I mean, again, tell us what we got wrong. Let us know what you guys think. And again, like Curtis IV here is saying, please let us know what you think should have been in here. If there's something that we missed, what should be taken out, give us the reasons why. We want to have a full-fledged discussion on it, and we will interact with you down in the comments below 100%, and make sure that you guys have an open dialogue with us. So
you want to submit your own personal bracket?
Do it.
Go right ahead. You can fill the whole thing out. We're not revealing our stuff just yet. But by all means, I'm very curious to see, and maybe you even have different teams on there, but if you've taken just our 32, by all means, just submit a bracket. Whatever your bracket is your bracket. If you got 32 different movies, that'd be interesting. But 32 whole different movies.
That'd be crazy. I don't know how you put in 32 other movies in this.
None of them made this. Okay, that's fine. I mean, that's interesting. I'll take that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I enjoyed it. Definitely, that was a fun Sweet 16 round. And again, let us know what your thoughts are down below. Again, follow us on Twitter. You'll be able to see the full bracket there. Make your picks with the polls and whatnot. You have 3 days to make those picks once the videos go out. So 100% go ahead.
Put up a new poll. What is y'all prediction for the champ? What is going to be the national champion of the greatest sports movie of all time?
I'll put that up there. And you guys can let us know down below what you think out of all of the Elite 8 matchups, which let's go through really quickly and let you know which those are. Again, Varsity Blues versus Moneyball, Rocky IV versus Cinderella Man, Greatest Game Ever Played versus Draft Day, and Creed versus 42. I'll put those up there. You can pick which one you think is going to make it all the way as well. So again, please like, share, subscribe, and again, share is the biggest thing there. We want to continue to grow as a community of sports fans here, and we just want to thank you guys again for listening, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.
All right, y'all have a good night. Goodbye.